Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at Tiny Epic Defenders, published by Gameland Games. This is a 1-to-4 player game. We're going to basically do a tower defense. You're trying to protect your capital city from the hordes of monsters and stuff coming in, and a boss monster coming in and destroying the city. So let's go ahead down the table here. I'll give you a general overview of how the game plays, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so this is going to be Tiny Epic Defenders. So in Tiny Epic Defenders, you're going to have tons of these epic foes that you're going to have to face in the game. And these epic foes are going to be what the bad boss at the end that you're trying to defeat in order to win the game. And you may not even make it to one of these epic foes. So to set up the game, you're actually going to select one of these randomly. Or you could look if you want, but randomly generally. And you're going to place that over here. Then you're going to put out your capital, which you're going to try to be protecting. So here is your capital city. And you're going to put a little flame token down on the 0. And then you're going to randomly place out, and these are double-sided, just but randomly place out these locations. Now I suggest tilting the location like this for the other places. Mainly because this shows that these locations here are not adjacent to the capital city. And I'll show a movement in a second, but then you're going to place a flame token on each of the locations here on the 0. Each player is going to select from this very large deck of cards a hero. So each player is going to get a hero. And you put that hero out here. And you're going to put a heart on the highest available level for health level. Then you'll put each player's meeples into the capital city. Make all the other stacks of cards available, and for these cards, separate them out by type. So you're going to have your normal encounter cards. Got a dire in there. So you have your normal encounter cards. You're going to have your dire encounter cards, which are a little more tougher. And you're going to have your hero card. Okay, so we're going to make a Horde deck, a leftover deck, and a player deck. For the Horde deck, what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 of these. So we're going to shuffle this up. And we're going to place 3 of them here. Then we're going to take dire cards equal to the number of players that are going to be, not equal to, but based on the number of players. So if you look at the little instruction manual here, if we have 1 to 2 players, we put in 2 cards. We have 3 players, we put in 3 cards. And with 4 players, we put in 4 cards. And these are much tougher bad guys. So we'll put 4 of those guys in there. So you'll notice we'll have 4 bad guys, big bad guys here, and 3 little ones. And we'll shuffle this up. And this becomes the Horde deck, and we'll place that over here. Next, we're going to make the turn deck. In the turn deck, you're going to take 1 for each of the players, and based on the player count, you might put in some all defenders. So put that here. Then we're going to take 3 of these normal cards, shuffle up and do it blindly, put it in there. And all other cards are going to make up your leftover deck. So this is going to be your turn deck, and that's your leftover deck. For the first round, you actually don't shuffle the normal enemies in with that. You're going to put them on top, and the heroes go last. Otherwise, you're really not going to have much of anything to do when your hero comes up, and there's stuff nothing to really fix. So basically, what we're going to do throughout the game is we're going to flip these cards over, and this game's going to go over basically 6 rounds, because there's going to be 6 to 7. There's going to be rounds here. These are how many rounds that you're going to have to go through before you meet the epic foe. So once you've completed that, you're going to fight the epic foe, and if you beat the epic foe, you'll win. So to start out the game, what you're going to do, you'll flip over this card, and you're going to look at this, and these have symbols on them. So for these 2 locations, you're going to go ahead and put the threat up 1. Then you'll flip the next one, and you'll look at those two locations, and you'll put the threat up 1. And you're supposed to do these in order too, with the symbols. Do this one here, and we have this realm, and we have this realm. And now blue player gets to go. So what happens at these different locations? So these different locations all have abilities. So if you're in this ability, you can spend this little symbol here as an action, or some of them are passive. You can use these abilities if you're at this location. If this location has the little fire token ever make it to the top, the area becomes destroyed. And you'll place one of these over there, and they no longer get their bonus. You can still defend that location, but you don't get any bonus. And if a threat flips for this location and no one's there and it's destroyed, so it has this on here, damage gets put onto the capital, and that's how you're going to lose the game. Once this gets all the way up here, you've lost the game. And it's possible in this edition to fix the capital a little bit, but it's very, very hard. On your turn, you're going to look at your character sheet here, like this is the Gamelin character. You have your actions that you have on here. Notice that on the card when they flip, and there's all actions potentially, but this player's blue are all players, but this is just blue player. You can have 3 actions. Now, if an area is destroyed, you gain 4 actions to help speed you up a little bit. The actions you can do are listed up here. Basically, what you're going to be doing throughout there, and you do have a special power you want to pay attention to, but basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to move. Each movement's 1 point. I can't move here. I have to move here, then here if I want to make it to the planes. For one of my actions, I can fix the plane, move it down 1. And another action, I can fight the big bad boss, which is not out. We'll explain that one in a second. You can also use your ability on your character as an action, or you can use, if this one doesn't require it, but if some of them require actions here, you can spend the required action amount to fire off that action. You are trying to lower this as much as you can, and you're trying to get your guys over here. Why are your guys supposed to be over here? Well, once this finishes up, everyone's going to be in place. This will get shuffled. A new card, because it's a new round, from the top of this deck will go in here. If you're at a location, let's see here, all the players are gone. If you're at a location, so this is forest and water, and we're, bad example, we're not there. So if we're at a location, so this one here, where this is happening. So if this is happening here, I can choose to lose a life, put my thing down 1, instead of this threat going up 1. Another cool thing is, let's get one of these dyers out. If a dyer flips and it's in my area, so I'll just rig this one up here. This guy's here. I can defeat this monster because it triggered here. And if I defeat this monster, I get an artifact. Now, if I don't defeat the artifact, the area's going to go up a level, plus this ability actually fires, which can be very bad. But let's say I defeat it. Got 2 little hearts here means that it cost me 2 health to defeat him. He still stays in the deck. He's not going anywhere, so he'll be back. But I lose 2 health, and I get an artifact. And these artifacts you're going to place on your character, and they're going to help you out in different ways. So I will take my character Meeple. I'll find this Zodiac cloak, and I will place it on. Oops, I'll place it on my Meeple, and now he has the Zodiac cloak. Oops, placed it on the wrong Meeple. And this will go by your player board, and this is the ability that you get. So you can get cool artifacts that way. And use them throughout the game. So we're going to keep going until this is all depleted. And then the Epic Foe will flip. The Epic Foe is going to have a location and an ability that fires. You're going to put the little black heart marker on the 10 here. And players, if they're in this location, can spend action points to simply drop the monster's health level down. Different monsters do different things, but this one actually has a trigger when it hits different places. Once it gets all the way down here, if your capital is not destroyed, you've won the game. So that, in a nutshell, is Tiny Epic Defenders. Let's go ahead back up to the table here and I'll give you my final thoughts on this game. So Tiny Epic Defenders is a lot of fun. It is a cooperative game, so you have to be with a group that's going to be like-minded, working together to save the capital. It's not going to be where the person who destroys the most monsters wins, so it's not semi-cooperative, it's cooperative. Each player is going to have their own power that they can use in the game, which is really nice to help the group. There's a lot of different decisions that you need to make in the game for how things go. And you really, really need to pay attention to the deck as it flips for the round, because that is basically the threats that you're going to have. So you can notice that some areas get more hits than others. You also notice when the dire monsters come out, where they're going to be, so you can position yourself in there to take the hit from the dire monster to get those really cool artifacts in the game. And you're going to have to balance all this out, taking damage, because I didn't mention in the overview that if you get down to 0 damage or 0 health, you're not actually knocked out of the game. You can do all sorts of other actions, but you can't defend or attack or heal a region. So normally when you're down to 0, so you're going to manage that as best you can, you're going to go back to the capital, and if you start your turn at the capital, you'll heal all your health all the way out. So you have to watch out for that too. There are some characters that have some abilities to try to heal you back up a little bit, but know that you're not out of the game if you go down to 0 health. So I didn't mention that's very important in this game. A lot of replayability in this game, and component quality is amazing. I love those little item meeples in there where you could put those different pieces of armor or weapons on them. That's really, really cool. And that's a really cool invention by Gamelin Games. Component quality with that, just amazing. Love Tiny Epic Games. They put a lot of quality into a very small game. And that's my thoughts on Tiny Epic Defenders. Thank you for watching.